Hello everyone, tonight on the program, Association of Ghana Industries frowns on speculation triggering the cedi's free fall against major currencies. More as industries' woes are worsened by a weak currency.
Nature should be tackled or confronted strategically. We are fairly aware that a number of our colleagues who trade in the open space in the foreign currency, some are also in link with some banks that wish to cash in on the season of crisis.
Also coming up, amid food price hikes, Chamber of Agribusiness warns government to adopt sustainable solutions to deal with challenges.
Importation of certain goods that I refer to as unnecessary goods. A lot of cities chasing the dollar to import things otherwise we could virtually produce here in Ghana. And also, there are several other things that I think the government should temporarily or permanently ban.
Plus, tallow oil targets strong profits in 2022 after years of losses, a move expected to impact on Ghana's revenue. We'll hear the plans.
We've outlined an acceleration of our Ghana value maximization plan, so we're looking at a $2.8 billion capital spend between.
My name is Daryl Kwawu. Thanks for joining us. Details in a moment. Tonight, the Association of Ghana Industries, AGI, is citing speculation as the main cause of the cedi's free fall against major currencies as government holds an emergency cabinet meeting to figure out immediate measures to cushion businesses and the public from the high cost of living. President of the association, Dr. Humphrey Ayim-Dake, believes putting a stop to speculation will be an immediate relief to local businesses.
As much as we are aware that coming from the COVID era, we're still in a transition mood, in the transition period of recovery. And then these other related externalities, i.e. the COVID impact and that of the Ukrainian and Russian war sparking the fuel price increase. Presumably, we were of the opinion government was then finding a way through its monetary policy tools to spur the economy up through several interventions. But considering what is happening, we pray that the government will speedily come through the finance minister, as you have captured, to bring in some relevant interventions that will bring confidence back into the economy and then project our businesses.
Dr. Ayim-Dake, what immediate interventions do local industries need at this current moment?
The immediate intervention has to do with the cedi. We believe the speculative posture of a number of actors in the economic space is also triggering the rate at which the cedi is falling. And therefore, the speculative nature should be tackled or confronted strategically. We are fairly aware that a number of our colleagues who trade in the open space in the foreign currency, some are also in link with some banks that wish to cash in on the season of crisis. I mean, hey, when there's a season of crisis, some take advantage of the phenomenon to make supernormal profit. So we urge the Bank of Ghana to deploy very intelligent strategies to curb the speculative nature of activities in the economic space and also through the banks and those who are giving out hard currencies to be traded by, we call these people the Gao people on the street, to cash in on the crisis. The intelligence community needs to step in to tame this activity. The speculative nature is also worsening the case. That would be the immediate intervention to slow down the rate of depreciation.
Now, the Chamber of Agribusiness wants government to adopt organic means of dealing with food shortages and hikes in fertilizer prices. CEO of the Agribusiness Chamber, Anthony Morrison, has been responding to assurances by the Deputy Minister of Agric of measures being put in place to restore food prices to normal levels.
Food prices continues to go high in view of the rising cost of fuel, and also that also affecting transportation and aggregation. There are some areas that government must look at. For instance, some importation of certain goods that I refer to as unnecessary goods. A lot of cities chasing the dollar to import things otherwise we could virtually produce here in Ghana. And also, there are several other things that I think the government should temporarily or permanently ban in terms of imports. And this is some of the ways we can reduce the pressure on the city. Now, going forward, this is not to look at the local content. How do we develop a local content policy? How do we train our farmers to use indigenous materials like the cocoa pods? We are the second largest producer of cocoa. What do we use the cocoa pods for as a country?
All right.
These are the opportunity for us to look into it. Probably we can introduce some enzymes into the cocoa pods and to produce organic fertilizer for the country. So there are several things that we can do. So I believe it's a call in the right direction, but a lot more needs to be done by this government.
Now, as various stakeholders in the agri sector forecast difficult times ahead, government insists food security is not under threat. Today on Joy Business Shopping List, my colleague Emma Davis visits the market to gauge the availability and prices of some staple foods.
The Peasant Farmers Association has advised Ghanaians to stock up ahead of next year because food shortage may hit Ghana due to the current food inflation as well as the increase in fertilizer prices. I am here at the Kokomba Yam Market at Agbogloshi to find out the prices of yam, as yam is a crop that can be stocked up and kept for a while. Come with me.
Where you last week no mom there na buy the new papanti na 11 cedi 12 cedi na where the 10 cedi and I me wo pronounce me wo different types where you 12 cedi where you 15 cedis nyaminti kasi anso ye 15 na ebi nso ye 12.
But yes, in your mabwa kosro, Idani Bakos, Abansana Bayan Kwande Swati.
The Baira Badudo, and internet Swati Kakra, and Shadanti, and call from Cassisa.
Baron Bois, the price in the bottom, so Baron you want the price in the Soka high. But you see, the market say Baron Bono above Soroka Kra because of transportation. 100 tubers of yams is 100 cities. Meanwhile, it was 70, 30. It is a ma price, above one to Suba, as also one toner, make us about to make more transportation. So I was Banyaka Grant.
Body drawback, yes.
It's about body and I do Sabriana and it be a 20, 30, depends on the body and it's here. Lolly Fenity. For a grass a crowd amount. 10 cities grow a grass here. Over Baby, I can't say we're being Wabe do na kobe 30 wo kra ni nsem. All fair no yento to patrom ni etimidi 2 million 1.8. Yes starting here 1.5. Na ya 800 kra na ba ya say lolly fair 3 million po ba ko. Plus ba so I won't track and wo be san ko fa car another car. Wo be san de wa ba. STC 5 cents 775.
You see body do same 50 Ghana. I say 50 Ghana. I people say, well, body will be on the size. When you're 20 Ghana, when you're 30, up a big one, when you're 50 Ghana, and 100 Ghana crabby.
and also counting as a cocoa or iron.
One of the more chair now, Muslim say, Angwa boarding, and your body uncle. Because body and in your but if you are but if you gas him, it's a body for Crayad. The table body other boy at Terreno. What's a god as I said, I could web it. It's as I what the other bed. It's what body at the Yakofaba. There's a father. There you 10 city, 8 says to the father, 13 city. It's your papa body at the side, and another body I had. A group of Sorodo. The side of Wyatt, to be about this every day. Better about it. Nick test castle worthy. It's your bay idea. Kasu na Cote d'Ivoire for the Bagana. You say yes, see, Ghana by the Kasu the Bento, 25 million. Cote d'Ivoire already 2 million. It is said to about Bagana. Tabagana 25 minutes, a father Costoro. Tiabasa won't talk about the other Cote d'Ivoire Casudo. Yabagana for Jai.
We can't talk about yam without talking about plantain. That's why I came to Makola number 2, where they sell only plantain, to ask for the prices of plantain on the market. And they say the plantain in itself is not expensive, but other factors like transportation, as well as the increase in some products like oil, and the increase in the safer is affecting the price of plantain. Reporting from Makola number 2 for the Joy Business Shopping List, my name is Emma Davis.
And this is just to give you an idea as you plan your shopping for this weekend. While you're watching Business Live, still to come, tallow oil targets strong profits in 2022 after years of losses. A move expected to impact on Ghana's revenue. We'll hear from the tallow boss here in Ghana.
We've outlined an acceleration of our Ghana value maximization plan. So we're looking at a $2.8 billion capital spend between
And that was a look at some business news from around the world. Now, oil exploration firm Tullow has indicated that it expects to return to some strong profits for 2022 after years of losses. The move is expected to impact positively on the country's earnings from the oil sector. The oil exploration firm ended 2021 recording another loss of $81 million. However, this represents an improvement over the $1.2 billion loss recorded in 2020. Rahul Deer is Group Chief Executive of Tullow Oil and has been speaking to Joy Business.
Today, as we look at Tullow, particularly as we look at our business here in Ghana, we've outlined an acceleration of our Ghana value maximization plan. So we're looking at a $2.8 billion capital spend between 22 and 25 in the Jubilee and 10 fields. We're looking at sustaining the gains in terms of operating performance. And we're looking at increasing kind of our drilling capacity. So we're looking at bringing in a second rig here in Ghana. And all that, George, will translate into, we believe, a production level of about 150,000 barrels from Jubilee and 10 by 2025. So compared to sort of 107, 108,000 barrels per day. So quite a material increase in production, but directly as a consequence of the work we've done and the investments.
Not boxing you to any strict timeline, but when are you hoping to getting back to some strong winning ways in terms of posting some strong earnings, because you've been able to reduce the loss position and looking at all the things that you're putting in place? Are we hoping that by next year we could see these things that you put in place hit the bottom line, or maybe in the next 2 years?
Yeah, I think so. I think that this year certainly, well, 21 was an important year because from a core earnings perspective, we were very much sort of profitable, but we were paying for historic decisions because we had negative earnings, as you said, which were substantially less than what we had in the year before. But still, they were impacted by write-offs of investments that we had made in the past, unprofitable investments we had made in the past. I think a lot of that is done. The balance sheet is clean. So as we look forward, we're really looking at profitability being driven by the performance of the business as opposed to being weighed by historic investments. So I'm quite confident about profitability this year, and certainly kind of as we recover production from both Jubilee and 10, we should see increases in profitability going forward.
What has influenced your decision to take over the Jubilee FPSO? Because I thought that as a strategy, you wanted to focus on your core competence and allow other service providers to help you. Help me out in that decision. When I saw that in your financials, even the half year, that operational update, and now was firmed up in the full year results. What is the rationale behind it?
So really, if you think about where Tullow is today, and this is an important thing. So we have a very simple statement that defines a lot of our actions, which is every barrel matters and every dollar counts, right? And what that means when you think about it, George, is that it's about an attention to detail in every aspect of the business that we do, right? So remember that. So if you keep that in mind, and then you look at the operating performance on reliability, safety at the Jubilee, at the K&K FPSO, we've seen quite a substantial shift. So I'll give you one number. So in 2019, the uptime at the K&K FPSO was about 84%. Last year, it was 98%, right? So if you ask me why, and in that why is the answer to your question. So the one simple thing between 2019 and 2021 has been a continual increase in the influence that Tullow has had on the operations in K&K. And recognizing the direct impact of that, we believe that in order to sustain those gains, the logical thing for us is to take over the operatorship ourselves. You talked about the core competence. I believe that a company like ours, really, K&K is a really important asset for us. It's an important asset for Ghana. And I think given the significance of that and the point that every barrel matters, every dollar counts, and looking at the improvement in the performance that we've been able to achieve by just increasing our influence, we feel strongly that really this is something that we should be driving ourselves. We'll still continue to work with a lot of the same suppliers, a lot of the local partners that are there. We'll look to increase the capability in the local content. But when we look at this, a lot of the key decisions around planning, maintenance, focusing on asset integrity, those are all we want to drive because of the criticality of the asset.
What will be the impact of this move on employment in terms of either taking up these service providers or bringing in more competent hands to help you with this decision?
So look, I mean, local content is the heart of what Thalo does. You know, I was in Takoradi on Tuesday and was very pleased because I visited some of the fabrication yards. And it's fascinating because we're assembling complex mega steel structures, which till recently were not possible here. The last time we assembled these structures or fabricated them was in Houston, right? So I think that is the sort of thing we believe is possible. And if we're driving the O&M business, we feel that we can improve and uplift the competence. We can improve and uplift the scale and scope of what we're doing kind of on a local content perspective. So you know, a big driver for us has been to say, if we're much more in control, we'll be able to not just deliver local content from a kind of ticking the box point of view, if I may say so, but really drive local content from real competency and skill building. So kind of like my fabrication example.
And that was Group Chief Executive of Thalo, Rahul Dio there. Now, some requirements like BUE requested among the list of items for a bride price are gradually becoming outdated according to some youth. They are asking for it to be scrapped. However, others, notably the elderly, believe tradition must be respected. Beverly Broom reports.
2 boys. If they counter any of this, and I went to their wife's parents, and they give me the list, and the list is too much. I have to beg them so I to come. If they don't answer to my list, then my children will marry.
Marriage is an institution made special by events surrounding it. Among these events are the payment of bride price and the formalization of the union. The payment can be made in the form of money, presents, or a mixture of both, depending on the ethnic group. In recent times, many have raised concerns about the high cost of bride prices, arguing that some of the items, most often than not, are not utilized by the bride.
Forward. We are not coming back. So I spoke to my dad and told him I'm not going to use those things. So it's not important. Meanwhile, things are difficult now, so you should just understand. And he understood. I think it's waste of money.
It's too much. That's why our children, girls' children, are still in the house, because what the parents are demanding from their men, they are too much, especially with the Muslims. And if you want to take dowry, sometimes we take dollars, we take pounds, we take safer. Sometimes we don't take cedis in dowry. So how can the men come and marry our children? Don't be giving birth in the house. So we are begging the parents, they should let the dowry come down.
Well, millennials have reservations about norms of yesteryears, but the aged appreciate culture and will continue to adore it.
So yeah, Baba, where the way. But 2 bedroom member, Condor so beboduku. Tisano, Udisia, Upa, work of Fabinuabo. When every system,
some women echo the respect for tradition and demonstrate how the items are used.
Nene wo ashino. Wo ashimi nchoni. Ba dole ne ke ya ashino mi yen. Ne ko ba dole. Bona. E ko wo ashino mi. Ashino mi ne ke. Wo ashino wo. Aka wo ashino mi ne ke. Odo fo no yi. Bona. Kete se ba kitu yi. Bona. Odo fo no. Ene ti. Ene 1 yard ni si half yard age fi. Oko kitu mi. O ba na se ba jiko yo yi. Yo ana no ko yo se. O ba nyoka wo atale fin atale. Ene achola yin pankasa. Achola yin pankasa ka ba fi engagement e. Be pia kwa ko he papa. Ene papa ni achola yin pankasa. Bona won wa ka e ko me 15 cedi.
Mini ji ese na mo.
Yin ke sho ko wo e. Ameke sho. Ona ko wo hu e sa o he ko wo owo ata owo pioto e ani ashino e ya pioto e mi ke dwele no na na shike ye pioto e mi ana ani ebo bia na nya pioto bibia ni nya wo ashino dwele no wa na shike wo pioto bola ba no wo le ne ke ho mi ana.
Only a few respect tradition. So how does that affect market women who continue to sell these items?
Yeah, they're 15 cedi. Neke 15 cedi. Obaja mi enyo use 15 fe obaja mi enyo no ba use le ekome lebi ke ekome gbeke eje system mi ni ho na he papa eje ka je ba je system nko eje mi eche e ya ka onupa iba he onupa he won che me am for che e won che me he onupa iba he ka ba fi engagement ba he ka ba fi yala awon na eyin ake yala yo cho acho han yo ke gbo acho han le do enye eje system mi do bla ya bi pe.
Marriage remains an institution whose dictates are essential. But is it about time changes are made to what is required before marrying the woman of your dreams?
And that report ending Business Live tonight. Thanks for watching, everyone. Enjoy your weekend.